Hey everyone, this is the Porches and Private Eyes DVD commentary, and I'm Travis Mills, the writer-director, and I have with me
Katie Howard, producer.
Naveed Sanati, producer and editor.
Yay!
Woo!
Alright, so
Ooh.
as you can see, we are watching the opening credits for our movie. And,
Wonderful.
Yep, I'm going to be a little silly, giggly girl as the role I'm playing.
Which
on
makes
this
no sense
commentary.
compared to Travis that is
Exactly.
on set. Travis in commentary is silly and goofy.
Yes, exactly. So, anyway, we captured these images around Brookhaven, which is where the film was made, where my mom was raised and my grandfather still lives there. And I was kind of inspired to do an opening like this because of the movie Nobody's Fool with Paul Newman, which we actually used the music for before Alfredo composed this beautiful opening score. Isn't that right, guys?
Yes.
Anything you want to add to that? Oh, look, this is a great, that dog. I love that dog. But I got the best title card, I think.
Did you guys grab the dog and put him in the middle there? Or
Oh,
was
no.
that dog
just happened to be there. I said, Nick, film him real quick. Film him.
Nice.
Boom.
Yeah, that was a great shot.
This is, all of the locations are Brookhaven locations. This is the Episcopal Church there. And what was cool about this scene is originally Anne Margaret, the main character, was part of the congregation. But when we saw sort of the setup of this procession that they do every Sunday, we decided to make her part of the choir, which totally changed the blocking of the scene. So that was kind of an interesting last-minute addition.
Yeah. This scene's just bringing back memories for me of just this day in general. We had 3 company moves between 3 churches in a series of 13 hours, and probably over 200 extras that showed up from surrounding towns, from Brookhaven, probably within a 30-mile radius of towns outside of Brookhaven. And although it was one of our most challenging days, it was probably our best day as a team, I would say. Right, guys? Do you remember?
It's all a blur.
It's a blur for sure.
It wasn't the worst day as
But
a
it
team.
was a good day. I
Yeah.
mean, at the end of
No.
the day, like, we all went back and had dinner, and we were like, dang, we felt good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was really the challenging part of it was putting us on our toes, and then it made it like overall smooth, way smoother than I thought it was going to be for that day.
This woman playing, I guess you'd call her the priest, I think, yeah, the priest is the actual priest of this church. And most of the members up there are the actual members of the church, which is pretty cool. So I liked her little cameo in it. Lynn, playing Anne Margaret, was the second choice for this role. She hates it when I say that. But
Love that.
I'm really glad. Hey, honestly, Humphrey Bogart was the second choice for Casablanca, so classics are made by second choices.
Yep.
Anyway, the first choice wouldn't kiss the Paul West guy, so I dumped her. This is another church which used to be my mom's church growing up, actually, and now it's just a wedding venue. These women are both from Brookhaven. Marlene playing Patsy and Martha playing Charlotte. And I believe both of them have never acted in a film before. Martha was in like a adult diapers commercial. But other than that, she'd never done any like real film acting. And this is the third of the female leads, Elise McMurry playing Ginny. One of my favorite scenes in the movie here.
Why is it your favorite scene?
Are you an interviewer or what? Well, I can't ruin it for the audience. I just like this. This is one of the guaranteed laughs that almost every time we show the movie, we have a laugh in this part. And these kids were just a lot of fun to work with. 2 of the kids are actually Marlene's daughters. They're twins. Those 2 right there.
Yeah.
The little
2 in the
girls.
pink.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely like that one. And here's
Brennan.
good old Brennan, played by Josh Powell.
An actor out of Jackson who's done a lot of work in the Mississippi scene.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, he's actually a younger guy, but he looks like he's been around the block quite a bit, which
I'm
fits
sure
the
he's going to
character.
appreciate that.
Hey, that was a compliment.
Speaking of who doesn't look like she's been around the block, let's talk about Elise. She's actually, was she 18 when she did this?
19.
No.
I think she was 18.
She hadn't
turning
graduated
19.
high school. Yeah.
Okay, so 18.
I think
turning
she's
19.
18, yeah. And anyway, she's definitely, we were worried about casting her because she's too young, but I think it worked out in the end. She's really good in the film. So, but yeah, this was all of these sequences that we're showing were all shot on the same day. Do you remember what day of production that was?
Day 7, I believe. I don't know. It just kind of...
It was on a Monday, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was a Monday. It was a Monday, and we had been working, I think, for 6 days. So yeah, it might have been the 7th day. We were all really worn out, so this day we just kept powering through. I mean, probably the most challenging, one of the most challenging days from my recollection.
Yeah. And here's the good old Porches.
Yeah, so this is what you're seeing now is Porches Restaurant, which most Brookhaven people are familiar with, which is obviously from the title a big influence on the movie. I definitely not only like this idea of women sitting on porches, but I love that restaurant and sort of wanted to incorporate it into the film. So it's just a great Southern food. This is one of the actual Porches servers. Miss Pat is what everyone calls her. So it was really cool to kind of get her into the film. Go ahead.
I was going to say, during this scene, all of the people eating in the background were actually eating lunch.
Yeah.
That day.
They're not extras.
They're not extras. So we had to go around and have them sign a waiver. We laid papers on the tables that said, if by sitting here you were entering in, well knowing that you were going to be on camera, are you okay with this? And had them sign it. And just act natural. And I think they acted pretty natural.
Yeah.
They just carried on.
We had a small footprint there because we were like tucked away in this little room. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure there were some people that came and ate there that day that had no idea we were filming unless they were told, I would guess.
Yeah, I think most of them actually, my encounters with them, they had absolutely no idea what was going on. People were asking, what are you guys doing? I think they had some kind of idea it was a movie, obviously, of sorts. So it was kind of a good way to let people know what we were doing and then kindly ask them if they didn't mind being in the shot. And they didn't. We didn't have one table get up and say, no, I don't want to be in the background.
Right, which we have had happen. We had it happen on his movie that we recently did, the new Mississippi movie, Don't Come Around Here, Naveed's feature. We were filming inside a diner, and I would tell people, you can walk in, don't worry about it, just get your lunch, just like normal, don't worry about it. No. I'm like, no, really? And they're like, no, we said no. Right? I'm like, all right. Yeah, they were violently against it.
Just don't look into the camera. That's all we ask.
Go ahead.
I love these little intercuts in between inside the Porches restaurant. It kind of helps.
Right. Break it up.
Yeah.
Break up like a 7-page dialogue scene.
Right.
This shot I love with the glass through her. I was like, Nick, what do you think about this?
How many takes did we have there?
Well, what's so funny is you do something like that and you see it in rehearsal, and then you try to make it happen again, and all of a sudden it becomes this burden on the shot because you're like, okay, just a little bit higher. Nope, a little bit left with the glass. So, but no, these are fun with these two guys that play her ex-dates. I think were really
that was
amazing.
Probably one of the funnest moments. I think the funniest moments we all had, where the
Wasn't
whole
that
crew
day
was
one?
just laughing.
This guy is great.
I think it was day 2 or 3.
I think that was day 2. I think night of day 2 probably.
This guy I always think of as Jerry Fields, which is his character name, because he's just so good in the role.
Drop.
Boom. And he really liked to drop.
Yeah.
He was dropping for real.
That was the first take, wasn't it?
I don't think it was the first one.
No, that was I think the last one actually we did.
Did he drop on the first take though? I thought he kept dropping.
Yeah. He dropped on all of them.
Like a 2x4.
He's just like, okay.
Well, Lynn was afraid of actually hitting him as hard as she did on the last one. So she, on the first one, even though she hit it slow, he still hit it down pretty hard.
That surprises me about Lynn. I would think she would want to just smack him down, you know?
No, she hesitated.
Feisty.
This weather thing is funny. This is one thing that we ran into to while
Yes.
filming is that the weather would change just out of, we shoot, the what do you call it, the sunshine scene, and all of a sudden it's raining, and we kind of had to add last minute dialogue in the movie to make it work. But so far, I haven't had anyone comment on that, so that's good.
Or even right here, there's actually no rain happening, but we added the sound of the rain, so it kind of
There's a little bit.
It's just drizzling
Looks
from
like
the roof.
coming
Right,
off the
right.
gutter.
And that's, it's really not raining up
Right.
front.
But audiences don't notice that kind of thing,
No.
so...
The weather in Mississippi in general was just one day it's sunny and freezing, and then the next day it's pouring rain, but you're sweating. I mean,
Yeah.
it made
The
no
humidity.
sense.
I love that shot.
Me too.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Nick and I just roamed around the neighborhood. He just got whatever he wanted. This guy was really funny in the movie. He was a last-minute addition. We cast him like the day before. Just Cotton, our AD, and he's also in the movie. I just had said, we need some good actors for these roles, and he got them. This scene is important to me because my grandfather is in it as the judge. Here he comes. And he was the chancery judge. This was actually his courtroom. So I told him he had no choice but to play this role, and he accepted.
And he nailed it.
Isn't he good?
He's so good.
He's 86
I
years
love
old.
it.
He's
great.
doing pretty good for
He's
86.
killing it.
That was awesome.
Has anyone said anything about this scene to you guys? Because I think this is really cool what we did here. But
I've had a couple of people. I think actually Mike mentioned something about this. He really liked this kitchen montage. It turned out well.
we'd never done anything like this where you have, it's too complicated to maybe explain exactly, but you basically split the screen. It's actually two shots that you're seeing right now with an invisible line between them.
It's cropped, yeah, basically.
I think people question whether or not this scene was supposed to show that Patsy is lonely or not. I think that might have been one of the questions I had gotten
Oh, really?
from an audience member.
That was definitely the intention. So,
Her kids are coming and going.
right, exactly. Just the detach. It's maybe not lonely, but like the distance and detachment between them.
With all due respect to my colleague, Mr. Conrad, if he'd already proved my client's guilt, we would no longer be here.
There's a Naveed's cameo. I almost forgot about this. Naveed and Mike
And
are
our
in this.
superstar PA,
Yep.
Zach Schuler.
Crafty. Wonderful Crafty.
And one of my ex-dates right there. Kick myself in the head. Yeah. Now you know, Katie. Yep. So this is at my grandfather's place, actually, which serves as Patsy's home. I forgot to mention that. That's a very important swing from my childhood. So many pictures have been taken on that swing, that's for sure.
I love this.
Next time, Anne Margaret.
Yeah. It's a nice playful thing that they had here. And they know each other, which I think helped with the dynamic of it. They've worked on other films together. So the one thing that keeps coming up, speaking of that one scene, is, the whole, why does Patsy have this black child? What's funny is they're not weirded out why she has a ginger-headed kid that looks nothing
Right.
like her
Nobody
or
has
her
said
husband.
one thing about
But why does
that.
she have a black kid? I'm like, I think the ginger-headed kid is equally... Oh, real quick, this is the mayor of Brookhaven, Joe Cox, who we asked to do a little cameo in the film, which is kind of a fun thing. And Janie's pastry, which is
Don't you just want
sort
to
of-
eat all of those?
No, actually none of them. But
I
I
do.
do want one of
I
them.
want 'em all.
One of her po' boys for $5.99. This is an advertisement right now.
Oh, yes.
$5.99 for a sweet tea, a po' boy, and fries. The
Oh,
best
it's so
deal in
good.
town.
I didn't know
Oh.
Janie did po' boys.
What's funny is John Krasinski is in the background there in the picture because he filmed a movie inside Janie's. So I didn't notice, but his
Wow.
picture is
Yeah.
in the background there.
It's right there.
Right between the two ladies, which is kind of funny.
Good thing it's blurry, otherwise we'd be in
My picture is there
trouble.
now too, and I'm bigger than he is. Just
No
kidding.
way,
a
stop.
little bit, a little bit bigger.
It's taller. It's taller.
taller.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a tall
Um,
frame, yeah.
This is Troy Douglas, who helped us in the movie. It's sort of a little cameo for him. He's got a couple cameos. See, here's another day. All of a sudden, it's kind of overcast, and we threw these shots in because the next scene is overcast, and we're trying to like transition between this different weather. It was rainy on this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was day one of shooting.
This is
was,
day one.
yeah, Serios.
Cerio's used to be a grocery store, and it was known for getting oysters there, and what my grandfather says was the coldest beer he's ever had. So now it's just a shut down building, unfortunately.
Haunted, maybe.
You think it's haunted?
That's what he was saying. Yeah, he was saying it was haunted.
I didn't get any feelings in there. But the Haven Theater, that's another story.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
This is, we are always using our own vehicles in the film, which is kind of funny to talk about.
It works well, though.
This is our DP Nick's truck, which has ended up in almost every film that we've had him DP. And this is Danya's. For Anne's car, we used Danya, our makeup lady's vehicle. So, yeah.
We just
Pretty
didn't use
crazy.
it in Durant's, right? We didn't use it.
Oh, no, we couldn't have used Nick's and Durant's, I guess. That's true.
Yeah. That's
The play that Patsy is directing is actually a sort of nod or kind of wink at a story that I hope to adapt one day by a Brookhaven writer named Bobby Jones. So this was my way of kind of just like, kind of connecting everything in like not a Marvel universe, but like a Brookhaven universe. Everything's kind of like tied to each other.
Of course not. All right, that's it for tonight.
I love this guy.
Cohen.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he was at almost every screening
Yeah.
in Mississippi, which was awesome. Super supportive.
That's just the first
So that was really great. I remember those roles. Remember, we hadn't cast them until like a couple days before.
Oh, yeah.
And you kept on asking me, Travis, who's playing the girl and who's playing the man with glasses and all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't
think
know.
up until the last second of their call time, they were questioning what they were supposed to be wearing, what time they were showing up,
Yeah.
but it worked out.
That was another fun thing about this movie was wardrobe.
Oh, wardrobe.
Yes. Naveed and Katie ended up taking on the brunt of wardrobe because we didn't really have a wardrobe person. We had a wardrobe assistant. We had an assistant to a position that didn't exist.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Our interns were a pretty good hand in that, but
And-
we only had them for a couple of days, so.
And they mostly did a good job, except for actually, I think the scene that you just saw, where they almost sent Lynn in with the wrong clothes, and
yeah.
both Lynn and I were like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
I
But
think
other
I
than
remember
that, you guys did a great job. So one thing about this is, a lot of people, if you're not from Brookhaven, you might not know, Brookhaven is in Lincoln County, which for the longest time was a dry county. No bars there. And that means that this, like, now it's not, but there's only a couple bars there. And our options for where to shoot the bar, Ginny and Brennan's bar, were pretty limited. So we ended up using this place, Recess 101, which is really not a bar, as you can see. But my argument was that it kind of works because it's like people trying to make something work in a space and in a town where it really hasn't been done before. So, but I haven't had anyone question the credibility of it. Have you guys?
No,
So
it looks like a bar to me. Felt like a bar when we were in there.
it didn't have a bar back, like, you know what I mean,
Right.
like you would normally have. It doesn't have any of those bottles or anything like that. So.
The beer.
Jeez Louise.
Something. A cat in here, I think.
God bless you.
Thank you.
The beer. The sponsored
Oh yeah,
beer.
yeah. Our
Beer.
beer was Southern Prohibition and Hattiesburg sponsored and gave us free beer to use in the film, which was kind of cool. This scene was supposed to take place coming out of a bathroom, but their bathroom was so tiny that we had to like fake this as a corridor to the bathroom. But again, it works. When you're working with a limited budget, you just gotta do whatever it takes, and work on the fly. I always like her expression when she's hears that he's gone.
I like how she just pops out from back there, like, oh, where
Yeah.
did what?
Yeah.
That's fun.
These musicians, I remember when we filmed this, being so tired at the end of the day, but hearing this music on set and everybody was quiet and they were just playing, and it was, for me, just like a meditative experience. I just felt I was just in the zone on these musicians in that moment for those 2 minutes. we were rolling.
Yeah, they were really good. Cody is connected. He doesn't live in Brookhaven, but he's connected to Brookhaven people. Very, very talented. His sister is in the movie later. She plays the sheriff's secretary. She's that blonde girl. This dude, I love this thing, and this guy, weirdo in the background. His joke that he tells about the martinis, I took straight from Mouse. Mouse is what I call my grandfather. Mouse is the one that told me that joke originally.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah,
That's funny.
So I had to get that into the movie because I'm like,
Last person that I thought would have told that
oh
joke
no,
is
he
Mouse.
loves martinis. He loves martinis, so he's all about it. But yeah, this was a good moment. This was one of the longest days. We shot, I think, 14 pages on this day, all in this bar.
Yeah, I think it was a 14-hour day too, something crazy like that. Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday. And again, first day of shooting. It's probably our first shot there, actually. First shot of the movie.
Katie's trying to tell me something without making any sound, and I don't know what she's trying to tell me.
This woman is amazing.
Oh yeah, she's good.
She's phenomenal.
Yep, her name is Lee Moore.
And she's hilarious, even more funny in person.
Yeah, she's funnier in person than she is on screen, but she didn't have a whole lot to work with. She only had a few lines. So I'm actually sad that one of her little moments kind of didn't make the cut. Her reaction that's coming up to Lynn telling her that she cannot clean in there.
Oh,
It just didn't fit.
Right.
That's one of the hard things about staging a scene is sometimes someone does something, but if it happens while another actor is doing something, you can't include
right.
both moments.
Right. It's
So
tough,
that's frustrating in the editing.
Yeah.
This was before we realized how to properly light African Americans. This is
a completely
this
dark
is before
room.
Nick realized, maybe we need a little bit more light here. But it still works pretty well.
This was a fun scene with that cup.
I gave him the business of using that cup, which I think helped him a little bit. He was, I really liked working with him. Jimmy Johns is the guy playing the sheriff, and he is total non-actor, ex-football player, sort of was a big deal coming out of Brookhaven, going to play football at Alabama, and he would start off so rough. I remember the actress, any actor that was in the scene with him would look at me kind of going like, help, like, why did you cast this guy? And then within 6 takes, he'd be kicking butt. He'd be doing great. So that was super cool.
Yeah, I definitely liked him a lot. He's he's a really interesting fella and really fun to work with.
I would definitely work with him again. When we make a sequel, his character's coming back.
Yeah.
I'm actually
I
gonna
think it's-
play with a slight romance between Anne and his character. I think would be really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be
But,
interesting.
yeah, there's some tension there.
There's some sexual tension
Play
for
upon.
sure. Yeah. In the sequel, he's not going to be sheriff anymore, and she'll have to go get him for help. So, this is interestingly enough, we were shooting in the office of the woman, the lawyer that Anne was originally based on. But the character doesn't really seem like her anymore after I wrote the character and Lynn played her. But we're shooting in the Inspirations office. I don't think Shelley knows that, so.
Shelley, if you're listening to this, now you know.
Shelley will not be listening to this, but I'm sure someone in Brookhaven will, so
They'll tell Shelley.
gossip is going to spread and she'll find out.
Hopefully the right version of it will get to her.
Exactly.
I like
But-
how this room is lit. It's kind of... I thought it would be really tough with the color, too, because it's the back window's blue, and then the yellow, it really plays well. Nick knows how to shoot this kind of inside-outside kind of thing.
He does. He was equally surprised, though, that a room that at first, when we first showed up, he thought it just looked so nasty, that it turned out looking so well.
Yeah, okay.
But this is
I love this location.
and it was tough to make it work, and I still think that it's I would have preferred something more simple for Ginny and Brennan, because they're supposed to be not paying the bills, they're struggling to
Right.
pay the bills, and this is a really nice apartment.
Yeah.
So they need to be living in like my house or something.
Right.
I don't think anyone noticed.
No.
Nobody.
It's one of those things.
Yeah.
So this is one of her children, ginger-headed. This kid was a lot of fun to work with, man. I mean, he always kept me guessing. So
That casserole was whipped together with all of our leftovers by our production
that
designer.
casserole is probably toxic to
You
eat.
probably do not want to eat that casserole.
It looks so delicious.
Remember, I was supposed to cook for this scene, and I never had time, so Rachel just took a bunch of stuff.
Slopped
and-
everything together.
This is the book that our new movie is based off of, Blood Country. So that's
Okay.
my little ode to that, and also the one the play is from. So that's her reading that is kind of like a little paying homage to that. This scene was supposed to take place outside,
Yeah.
and we had to bring it inside because of the weather again. So,
Actually, wasn't that the day that we questioned whether or not we were gonna stop production for the day because of the rain? So we all came back to the production office and decided, we're going to move forward with the day.
Right. This is the day where we got back to the production office. It's raining, which is production office is my grandfather's house. We can't get inside. He's locked it, and he's
yeah.
gone, and I don't know where he is. Right? It's raining outside. We can't get inside. We're all like underneath this awning and in the outside room, like not sure what to do. We can't shoot the scene. He comes back. And in the middle of this, he's stuck, and he's yelling at me, get all these cars out of the driveway. And I'm thinking, how can I possibly do that when you're behind them? And I remember walking up to talk to him at his window, and the windshield wipers are going, and I put my face right by the window, and they were shooting water right into my mouth, which was hilarious.
Mouse didn't want to get out of the car without an umbrella, right? Because he didn't want to get wet.
No. I brought an umbrella. I yelled for an umbrella and ran outside barefoot, and I'm like,
He
a
just
lady
really
was like,
wanted
no,
to
I'm
park.
just gonna wait.
Yeah.
He just sat outside in the rain there for forever.
Until it stopped.
In his car, yeah. This house that you're about to see extensively is one of the older homes in Brookhaven. It's sort of, it's kind of a local mansion called Edgewood is the name of the home. And
It's so big they had to give it a name.
That's right, exactly. And it was a lot of fun to shoot in. It was just amazing to be able to film there. And definitely kind of a dream to be able to get inside that house and set it there. A lot of the movie reminds me of and was inspired by this movie from the 90s called The Burbs with Tom Hanks, which is about three guys snooping around in a neighborhood. So this is kind of, the idea was to make a female version of The Burbs. Yep.
This house is very old, and I had heard somebody say that if you were going to buy this house, you'd probably have to spend $300,000 worth of renovations just to get it up to livable space. I mean,
Probably more. I mean, I think well, who knows if it's livable, but I think it'd be worth it if someone was willing to put the time into it, because it's just beautiful.
it is. But for filming there, I think it shows well in the film
Oh,
that
yeah.
it's a livable space.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, it's one of those things that looks worse from the outside, but when you get in the inside, you're like, this is incredibly well preserved.
Right.
It's also a place that should be freaky. That's not freaky at all. I don't think
For you,
I don't think there's any ghosts.
I was a
in
little
there.
freaked out.
There's no ghosts. Maybe in the cellar, which you'll see in just a little bit. This is outside Bank of Brookhaven, which is where we bank in Mississippi, so it's kind of nice to include them. First time we see Cotton Yancey.
So
on
quiet.
film, who's playing Ginny's dad, but looks like he might be a little older than their dad, but that's
Or
okay.
He's just got good genes.
Yeah,
and,
exactly, yeah.
Who knows?
But but he's really great in this role. I think people really rave about his performance in this. So, is playing the crotchety, the Scrooge-like banker.
An Ebenezer for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely an Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah, definitely a fun guy to work with as an actor. He brings a lot to the table, improving and all that kind of stuff, and plus he listens well. I think he's a good listener. He just kind of gets that, and then here he is being Scrooge.
He's really good at acting and taking naps on porches. That's a nod to you, Cotton.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting. I'm like,
I
when
was
is
gonna
that?
hold my tongue.
No, I really love him, and he was in our newest movie, and he's definitely going to be in our next film, Blood Country. So, very excited about that. This little tour that she gives at Brookhaven ended up also usually being one of the things that gets most of the laughs in the film, which is kind of cool.
Oh yeah, it's about to come up. The I love that little honk thing. I love that. It's one of my favorite parts. But yeah.
My one regret is on the last day we were tempted to shoot exteriors of Mike's van because that's our gaffer's van that they're in that scene, driving through town, and I really wish we would have, because I think it would have been even funnier to see a white minivan going through town, instead we're just inside.
That's the cleanest that van has ever looked, too, for the record.
Yeah.
And there was that funny line there. Did you know we have 2 Piggly Wigglies?
That line always gets people. I don't know if it did in Arizona, probably because people here have no idea. They have no idea what Piggly Wiggly is. But in the South, they love that. They eat it up. So, as you can see, we had fun with our hazer here, our smoke machine. Kind of added a little bit of ambience for the visual ambience for the camera.
Yes, I'm going to take credit for that.
Oh, that's right. You were the smoke
guy. I did a
guy.
beautiful job smoking everything.
I wouldn't say beautiful. There were times when I was very disappointed in his smoke performance, but most of the time it was good. This is another staple of Brookhaven, Bob's Sandwich Shop, where you can get flat chili cheese hot dogs. Just take my word for it. I'm not going to explain what a flat hot dog is, but
and here's Leroy.
Oh yeah, this is Mike, our gaffer, who owns that white van, and he's got 3 cameos in the film?
3, yeah.
And we actually named him. We gave him a name, Leroy.
I wouldn't
So we're planning on bringing him back.
I wouldn't tell him what his name was until the premiere in Arizona. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah?
Travis and Naveed gave you
That's
a
right.
name. I'm like, I can't tell you though. You gotta wait. He's like, I want to know. I'm like, dude, no. It'll be better if you just watch the credits.
You know what my dad said here, which was brilliant? He's like, you should have had a cat run out here. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
Dad, I wish you'd been on set to think of these things, because
Yeah.
that would have seriously scared the audience.
Yeah.
You could have gotten one jump scare in
Right.
the movie. Just
Yeah.
have this.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you see this cat just
Yeah.
like.
Oh, that would have been great.
Yeah.
This whole theme of like her overeating is totally what I like. The place I got that from was that like every time I go out to eat in the South, I leave and I'm like, I ate too much. Oh my gosh.
I think we all gained like 10 pounds.
Oh yeah, I'm still working it
Like,
off.
Oh, yeah. I gained another 10 pounds.
Where? You mean this next? I'm like, please clarify this.
Just by looking at this movie.
Oh,
No,
gotcha,
just-
gotcha.
Yeah, it's fun. Good food.
I noticed these little things like watch here when she's supposed to text something to him. See how long her fingers actually hit the phone. No one can send a text that's readable that fast.
I mean,
Every
it's
time I see the movie,
2016.
I'm like, how could she have communicated to Lynn right there? I mean, I guess she could have said back. Like back is all she could have possibly texted Anne Margaret. So his look here is really good. We haven't talked about Bo at all. Bo Pennington plays Paul West, and he's an actor from New Orleans. So he was fun to work with.
And that's all she wrote.
Mm-hmm. This is fun. We couldn't get out that door, so we had to like fake her coming out into this like tangles. So, Lynn was a good sport. She was there almost every day.
She was, yeah.
She's got some great expressions. Kind of think of her acting style as like a throwback to like the 1930s, 1940s screwball comedies. So, everybody kind of has a favorite of the 3 ladies,
Definitely.
but they're all so different from each other. They're like good in different ways, I think.
I don't think that one person has said, like, I think they're all equally as noted, like, by people. They're not,
Right.
I don't think any one of them stands out more than the other.
I've had people say, oh, Lynn is definitely the best, right? And
Yeah.
then someone else will say, Patsy's definitely the best,
I want to
or
be best
Marlene.
friends with Patsy.
Yeah. And it's just kind of who you are and what you connect with most as a
Yeah.
person, I
Totally.
think. This is definitely one of the best scenes of the film. Very proud of this scene. I think just the timing of it and the look of it, it really played out well.
Yeah, the window and the two shot is pretty awesome.
The banter of the actors, too, is just like
Yeah.
perfectly timed, which was really cool. People speak pretty quickly in this movie, which is how we turned a 110-page script into a 94-minute movie, which still blows my mind. I don't know
Consider your offer.
how we did that, because
I
we
mean-
didn't cut a whole lot.
No, I mean the pauses are there. People are pausing, but when they are saying a sentence, it's in 3 times the speed.
Where have you been?
This is a scene that I wish we could reshoot, not because of the actors. I like what they do, but
Must I?
we were in a rush this day, and I really wish there was a wide shot in this scene. I hate that it's just
Yeah.
close up, close up, close up, close up. There was also in the script supposed to be a dog in this scene that raises its head when it gets mentioned. It's just like, huh?
Mhm.
And we totally should have done that, but we just kind of passed over it. So I wish we could go back, but that's how it goes. Those eyes on her are ridiculous. Katie Sproles, the little girl, she's got the prettiest freaking eyes for the camera, definitely. People say she looks like a young Elizabeth Taylor. That's
Oh,
what
wow, I
that's
can
what
see
some
that.
people were saying.
Of course not. I'll be there next time.
Could see that.
This is another local band called Chickenpox Party, and it was pretty cool to also include them in the movie. So, my problem with these scenes, any bar scene where live music is playing, is, and I guess you get away with it, but were you ever in a bar where music was playing this low? No.
No. Yeah.
No, maybe
I mean,
if it was after hours, maybe it's winding down.
Maybe, but you always have to speak over it,
Yeah.
So next time we shoot a scene like this, the characters are gonna yell their lines, okay?
I like that.
I want it to be how it really is.
yeah.
Uncomfortable and disorienting.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. These were tough scenes to shoot with all this coverage and to edit. Remember?
Yeah.
We went through this scene so many times, looking at how to fix the timing and looking for these shots.
There's Brennan wearing the Papa's pizza.
Oh yeah, we did some
Yeah.
product placement,
Yeah, we
some
did some
sponsorship placement.
There is a liquor store down the street if you don't have
You'll see him wearing different T-shirts throughout the film of local businesses throughout Brookhaven.
Yeah, Brennan's shot's one of my favorite shots there. It just
Oh, yeah.
looks so great with the backdrop and everything. It looks really nicely lit.
Ooh.
Jenny, what'd they say?
The timing of scenes with multiple things going on in them is still something, as a director, that I am still trying to work on. It's
Yeah.
so difficult when you have a conversation over here that's supposed to be happening as this stuff. How do you make it seem like these people are still doing something and not just waiting for this
For that
conversation to end?
Right.
And cutting it together is very difficult, especially when you're working on set super fast and you don't have a lot of time to think about it.
Yeah, I kind of worked with this scene because she's actually kind of upset, so she doesn't want to talk. So
Right.
it kind of is actually
It allowed
creates
for a pause. Yeah, very, very true. This transition was great. That was your
Yeah.
idea, right?
Yeah.
Good idea, Nevi.
Hey, I have ideas
Yay!
sometimes.
You're thinking, man. You're
In a
thinking.
lot of
Yeah, it
times.
just works.
This is Lauren Van Mullen playing the young Anne, which was a nice little cameo for her. And a little brief glimpse at Red Bluff, which we will return to. This was my little homage to When Harry Met Sally, the little three-way conversation in that. Marlene did not want to be on the toilet in this scene.
The commode. It was the commode, Travis. Remember?
That's right. That's
The
what she
commode.
called it, right? She hated me for this. She's like, she was really upset. But she didn't say anything after the movie that I can recall.
No.
So, but she did not want me to stage this scene on the toilet.
Oh yeah, and then because she wanted to go like fully on the toilet, not just like, or I'm sorry, the commode, because you know she's being a team player, and actually like it looks like she's in the bathroom, you know, so it doesn't look like she's has her pants up. Or
What are you talking about?
What?
I don't understand.
No, that the agreement was that her pants would stay up and she would sit there.
Exactly,
she
yeah.
fought it for a while. She did not want to do it. She refused, but she said, "I trust you, Travis.
Right.
Yes.
I gotta call Malcolm."
She had to call her
called
husband.
Malcolm.
Yeah.
And
Which
then,
is hilarious.
And he said, "Get on the
Yeah.
commode."
Get on the commode.
That's great.
Approval got.
Yay, Malcolm.
I remember us all in that room for that shot because we were just laughing the whole time.
The pants were.
So this is a funny scene because the actor playing her son, Jeffrey, his delivery of this line, "I don't know," gets audiences laughing wherever we've been. And it was never a funny line to write.
No.
And it just
Played out nicely.
it's funny. It just seems to connect with everybody's sense of like what a teenager and a
Right.
parent dynamic is. And I mean, we had people at the Q&A in Colorado. Remember, like someone raised their hand. They're like, "I just really thought it was great when the character said, 'I don't know.'" And I was like, "Why?" That was Greg Russell's cameo, one of the
Yeah.
producers on the film, playing the mailman. So this is where the film kind of takes a slight detour into
Making some
the
tea.
more dramatic elements.
The drama of Jenny and Brennan.
We should talk a little bit more about our composer, but I don't want to do it, so you guys should do it.
Our composer, 17-year-old kid.
I love this shot.
In
from
Italy.
It's really, I mean, music is really tough, and having like a good amount of music on here that we already had in mind, or just kind of like placements that we wanted to send to the composer to come up with their own music for it. And I mean, when first we got the music from Alfredo, I thought like he is like a really mature and seasoned veteran,
Right.
like composer, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
because
yeah.
it came back with all these little intricate like ways of like telling the story on its own, and not just like, hey, here's backdrop music. The
But
music.
he's really, you never guess he's 17. We should talk about this scene real quick
Yeah.
and then go back to Alfredo. This is 80 yard. All of Lynn's lines are 80 yard with an iPhone,
Right.
which is pretty
It's
freaking
crazy.
incredible. Or I don't know if she has an iPhone, I can't remember. But a phone.
Droid, iPhone.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, but you can't tell. At
Yeah.
least I can tell, but most audiences can't tell.
I couldn't tell at all.
But yeah, so anyway, you were saying that Alfredo is just so much more, what he does sounds so much more mature.
Yeah, just I mean it's a character, or it adds to to each of the characters in the film. So like it feels like when Jenny comes on, or Anne comes on, it's their theme, and plus it's also what the real moment is, you know, in the movie. So if it's a dramatic moment, it's Jenny's dramatic moment, or if it's like Anne's funny moment, it's really like adding a lot to the story than just being backdrop music.
Yeah, no, he made the film better, and he definitely changed the film in a way that I didn't know was possible, which is really great. And audiences seem to really connect with the music. A lot of people have told me that they leave like thinking about the music or humming the music, which is always successful.
Mm-hmm.
This was shot at night, and I think it was supposed to be daytime, and we closed all the curtains
Or,
to
yeah,
make you
afternoon.
not realize that it was at night. This is one of the Brookhaven landmarks that I wanted to incorporate into the film. It's called the Coffee Pot Inn. It used to be both a diner and I think like an inn motel back in the day. So, and it used to be 2 stories. So that's not the original, or at least all of the original building. But it was cool to have this little rendezvous take place there. Gosh, this was a tough scene because the traffic. This was the
Yeah.
worst day of filming.
Yeah.
I almost killed
It
the
was-
entire
it was
crew
so
on
hot
this
that
day.
day
Yeah.
too. It
Except for
was-
Nick. Nick was the only one I didn't want to murder this day. Maybe Jared too, but I wanted to murder everyone else.
Oh yeah.
That's fair.
It's so weird because some days, like, for no reason whatsoever, all of a sudden everybody's just sluggish. Like, it's not a long day. It's not like we had a long day the day before. It's just like everybody's just like, I'm not going to work hard today. We're just going to kind of mosey along. But we were also, we had all this traffic. Remember? And
Yeah,
the actors
people
would
were
have to
slowly-
pause.
They were doing drive-bys just slowly to see what we were doing, not having any regard for the fact that they were disrupting our set. Didn't we have Cotton standing on an apple box at one point?
He's
Mhm.
he's
He's
on
on an
Apple.
apple
yeah,
box
he's on
in
an
his
apple box.
close-up.
Yeah.
Yep, to make him look more dominant. So we should have put him on an apple box there too, or was he?
I think so.
I think, yeah. Kind of looking down on her
Uh-huh.
because he's a terrible father.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When he walks off, it's kind of funny because I don't know. But yeah.
Because
So-
we built him a path, didn't we, or no?
Because when he
You gotta cut
He
away.
definitely, yeah. He definitely
Because
steps.
you hear him step down. Now this is what filming at Red Bluff really was trespassing. So just so you know,
It's
folks,
funny because those signs actually kind of look like props.
they do. Doesn't look real, right? So yeah, we totally broke the law doing this, which is just great. I just don't think you should make a feature film without breaking the law in some way.
Yeah, I think making features is breaking the law. So, whatever that means.
This is what most Mississippi people refer to as the Mississippi Grand
They
Canyon.
haven't seen nothing yet.
It's
Right.
so tiny, but it's so
It's the
big.
Mississippi
I
Grand
mean,
Canyon.
it's really beautiful.
Oh, it's great. I think it's awesome.
I
So I
wish-
wanted to incorporate it.
Yeah, that.
And we had a limited crew this day. Most of everyone stayed back at the base.
What were
Me, Nick, and James went out there.
Danya.
With Danya went too. That's right, to do the makeup. Yep. Which was
What
fun.
were the rest of us doing?
Probably goofing off.
Getting ready for the
Shut
next
up.
day.
We were working
What do
our
you mean? What
asses
were
off.
we doing?
Butts
You
off.
were working your butts off, Katie. Butts.
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 By the way, folks back home or wherever you are, you might not be home. This is a PG-rated commentary, and I've informed both Naveed and Katie that it's supposed to be a PG-rated commentary.
I'm
So,
trying very hard, folks.
This was kind of a fun shot to get, but no one jumps in this scene, so we need to work
No,
on our
yeah.
scare moments a little bit. We were able to feature the Boga Chitto baseball team and shoot at the Boga Chitto attendance center. There's Mike again, our
Leroy.
gaffer.
Leroy.
The character Leroy, playing in this great moment, the umpire.
Yes.
I love her little stick the tongue out thing here. That's her. That's all her. I didn't direct that at all.
This day was freezing.
Everybody's freezing, as you can tell in the background. If you look at people, our extras. But it turned out it matched better than we thought it would.
Yeah.
Here it's sunny, there it's a little cloudy, but no one
And the
pays
talent,
attention to
they
that
were
stuff.
tough. I mean, you couldn't even, and they weren't even wearing jackets because it wasn't supposed to be that cold. So you couldn't tell. They toughed it out.
Yeah, and it's Mississippi. It's like, certain parts of it is sunny, certain parts of it's raining.
Maybe he's right.
What's other days? It's different days, but you're right. It is a little spotty in Mississippi.
Yeah.
What's funny is when we were just there over the summer schedule was like sunny in the morning, rainy in the afternoon, clear at night, every day,
That was nice.
which I loved. But yeah, this was brutal shooting. We were just freezing our butts off. You can't tell. That's Greg Russell there in the hoodie in the background on the left side of the frame.
What was he doing? Was
He's
he
like
supposed
listening
be
to his
there?
headphones, and I'm just like, just stand back here. We need some people. This was an interesting addition to the film because we changed. This is a local guy named D.D. Smith, and he wasn't originally in the script. We had a whole scene where she goes to Monticello and meets this guy named Greenstreet, and then eventually they go to the Windsor Ruins, but the Windsor Ruins were too expensive. And Greenstreet's the guy that we wanted to play Greenstreet, Byron, got into an accident. There were all these different elements that prevented us, and we met Dee Dee and found his backwoods bar, the Freebird Cafe, and sort of just incorporated it into the movie. And I think it's one of the best parts of the film, especially him sitting on this lawnmower cleaning his gun.
Oh, it's great.
I like when we staged that scene. I was like, we went out there and I'm like looking at the lawnmower and I'm like, what do you think, Nick, if he's just sitting on his lawnmower cleaning his gun? Like, so random. So this used to be like a backwoods bar for parties and stuff like that when bars were still not allowed in the Lincoln County. So
I like that Leonard Skinner. Sorry, that was a couple seconds back, but that Leonard Skinner insert there because of the Leonard Skinner reunion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
in
for
there.
sure. And you know the
It's
plane
important,
wing
yeah.
in this is actually the plane wing from the Leonard Skinner plane, right?
No.
What?
I know.
You missed out.
Somebody
You know
tell
Leonard,
me
you
something.
know Leonard Skinner died in, like, the band died in this
Most of
plane
them.
crash.
Yeah.
Most of them, yeah. And they all went and got parts of this plane.
Yeah.
How'd
And
I
that's
miss
part.
that?
That's the actual, like, when she turns around right here and looks at this.
We're busy
that's
making a movie. That's
part
I
of the
know,
plane.
right?
That's why it's called the Freebird Cafe.
We didn't have time to goof around.
That's true.
See?
That's not goofing around.
See?
That's knowing. That's knowing
I
your
love this.
stuff.
Knowing
Your stuff.
stuff. So this was a scene completely added to the script as well that incorporates Dee Dee's real story about his friend who died after they both went sober. So I thought it was cool to incorporate this and kind of a very touching moment. Definitely was fun to incorporate this location. After I saw this swing at the lake, or the pond, I'm like, oh man, we got to do that.
Yeah, and the guys got on a boat.
Yeah, which was a lot of fun. We got to film on a boat.
Funny story about the boat is while we were shooting this part in particular, and James is holding the audio, and then I look over and I see Cotton is somehow trying to start the boat, or his boat died, and then he's like looking around and notice he can't yell or anything because we're shooting.
It's like stuck.
He's like, his look was just priceless. He's like, I'm stuck. You can tell from far away he just said that.
But yeah, he was definitely the driver of the boat, and he's like he's a man of many things, a rodeo guy, an actor,
Singer.
a country musician.
He's
yeah.
on Spotify, so that's
Yeah,
great.
exactly. Very fancy. But yeah, this was I really like this scene a lot. It looks very pretty. Good addition to the film. Man, when we shot out there for what will be coming up, this was the cold day when we were shooting.
Cold night. It was 34
that's
degrees.
what, that's what I mean. You just
34.
poured water all over my floor, by the way. Katie just poured water. Commentary foul. Commentary
needed to be
foul.
buffed
Commentary
out.
party foul.
If you could all see this floor right now.
It's a hardwood floor, Katie.
with
Water
movie
just cleaned it,
stubs
so
and
good job.
hair. and
Thanks.
Converse.
Thanks, exactly. Oh, sports scenes are the bane of my filmmaking, directing,
Why?
existence. I just hate directing that kind of stuff. I need an AD to do.
Oh, that.
Just manage the players, manage all the staging. I hate doing the let's
man.
get a strike and let's get a hit.
Yeah.
Especially when you throw an actor like we had onto the team and you have to see him miss the ball
Yeah.
20 times before he hits it. It's just, I'm like, I know you're suffering. I'm suffering for you, right?
Yeah.
This is brutal. Oh, this moment actually gets applause most of the time when she tells her off. Such a great scene.
That was great. They both did great.
I love how she's surprised that Jenny's looking at her what did you just do?
Yeah,
She's
what?
like, what?
No big deal. I wish that this pushing the children out of the way worked a little bit better. Pushed one down on the ground would have been kind of nice,
Yeah.
knock one over.
What is the matter with
I really like looking at these extras in the background and seeing how clearly cold they are. Like the woman, like, look at the woman's hands behind them, wrapped inside her long sleeve shirt. Like, these people are very cold. Kevin, one of our interns, is the black kid right behind them, too. There's a cameo for Kevin,
Oh yeah,
which is
didn't
kind of
notice
funny.
that.
he's
Yep.
got the pink.
He's got
Pink
that,
hat and
that
glasses.
Yeezy hat on.
Yep.
This,
Right.
this day was challenging, but we had, I think the extras, I mean, we had more than enough bodies there. They really filled out the scene.
Right. I wish there had been more, but it's pretty realistic for a high school game most places. Sports is a pretty big deal in Mississippi, so I wish that there had been more, but man, it's hard to get people to come out, as we've seen over and over again. So, some parts of me still feels like this could be, it's so difficult to get color correction to match for things, you know? It's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough to match that green, and then there's like different shades of blue and yellow going on. It's not easy, yeah. And the lens changes.
I like this breeze through their hair thing.
I love the hair flow.
It was annoying them. And one of the actresses, I can't remember which one, is like, I don't want to use that scene. There's hair in my face. I'm like, it makes it dramatic.
Right.
Like, it works. I remember this idea for this shot of the ball coming down. I have to take credit in an arrogant way. I said, well, Nick, let's just put the track up here and slide down towards her. And he's like, that's not going to work. And then we tried it and it worked. So there you go, Nick.
There you go,
Sometimes
Nick.
Travis has decent shot ideas. Oh, man, him popping this champagne bottle.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course.
Ay. We did take after take of him getting that right.
And we only had 2 bottles, I think.
We were just
Or
so
3,
slap
I don't
happy
remember.
at the end of that. That was like coming to the end of the shoot day. We were just all giggly.
Yeah,
My word.
that too. It was you get like that right before you get super grouchy and want to kill each
Right.
other.
And that's one of the few places our production designer actually had to be creative.
Oh, why? Because of the.
She did a really
There's
nice
nothing
job
there.
setting that table.
Oh yeah, definitely. It looks really good. Looks really good.
Because most locations are already there, and she just had to kind of move it around. But that one was like, oh, here's the table,
Yeah.
and set the mood was kind of nice.
Yep. There's another ode to another T-shirt for us, right? I don't know if he
Oh,
was
yeah.
wearing that in the film already. I don't think so.
No,
He hasn't worn that one yet, no.
well, that's a different day,
Yes.
so you
right.
can't be wearing that shirt.
Wardrobe.
Yes, wardrobe, my friend.
I know as much about wardrobe as you.
I had to do that. That was good.
Yeah, exactly.
Coffee bar.
These scenes were hard to shoot. I liked using this balcony, and I like that Brookhaven has these balconies, but it was difficult to get a variety of shots on them, you know?
There was a lot of takes on that one. Like
Yeah.
a lot.
Well, we definitely struggled with lighting that, all that kind of stuff.
We gotta give Danya credit for that makeup on Anne's face there.
That's what always like, it's another thing that scares you, though, because once you create a bruise on an actor,
Right.
you gotta remember to put the bruise on them every time you do a scene.
Yeah.
That's after that. And if you screw it up, you just screwed the whole film up.
Well, Donnie's good at that. She already had like what scenes she's supposed to have
Yeah.
bruise on, so she would mark it every day on her call sheet.
Yeah. Danya's amazing. She's our go-to makeup artist. Absolutely. So, there would be some funny mess-ups in these scenes with Paul and Anne, it seems like. It didn't make it into the outtakes, but I remember they're just, like, working with these two was always interesting, you know? Their dynamic and their dynamic with me.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. It's another really hard scene to color. For some reason, between those 2 shots, it seemed really different in color temperature.
This was different.
Yeah. It's so funny how, like, downstairs it was, like, totally warm, and up here it's, like, hard to work with because it's cooler, and
Or
the
you-
wide shot looks warmer.
Right.
But Sorry, folks, we're getting into like
I know. I was just gonna
filmmaker
start
talk.
explaining. I was like, you guys want to explain?
We're
like,
talking
cool
about
and
what's
warm
called
color temperature?
color correction. See, what
no.
comes out of the camera is not the images that you're going to see in the theater.
Right.
There's a lot that happens to it, a lot of colors and saturation and contrast that gets added to it. So that's what we're discussing.
Well, and plus, I think most people that listen or watch the commentary with the movie are people that are more interested in film and filmmaking than
Touche.
the average Joe, I would say.
Or people who like juicy gossip.
Or, yes, juicy gossip.
we
Welcome
done
to
any
the
of
juicy
that? I don't
gossip.
think
I've paid a few. I've thrown a few things out there. We found out one person that
good movie information.
You're too close to the mic.
Why?
We found out what did we find out? Well, one of the
I don't know,
characters
the
was based
easy
on
anger.
my dating life. There's been some nuggets of information there.
Little nuggets.
Katie's got a worried look on her face that I'm gonna drop some like really big juicy
Someone's
information.
gotta have PR going on over here.
Exactly.
Good looking
Well,
like that.
people probably would have turned off the commentary by now
They
anyway.
might have. We wouldn't know.
At this point. So when we went out in the woods, I think it's funny to mention that all of the crew like pulled their vehicles too far onto this property, and almost every vehicle got stuck in the mud.
Yes.
And Nick, with his truck, had to pull everyone
yes,
out.
thank God for that truck.
Oh,
It
he had
was
the
an-
That
it
biggest,
was
was a
savior.
nightmare.
he had the biggest smile on his face because he's like, "Oh man, I gotta get you all out of here! I'm loving this."
Katie, there's a Rockstar energy drink in the fridge. Can you grab it for me? It's in the plastic bag. Thank you, Katie.
We're having a little intermission, guys.
No,
Sorry.
it's not an intermission. We just
I'm about to
talk,
go to the
right?
restroom.
There you go. This scene is one of my favorites. I love the
yeah.
timing and the way they look, and their reaction to this car showing up is just freaking hilarious.
Which me and Naveed were sitting in.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys drove it
I was
down,
like,
right?
yeah, we were.
Katie, get down.
It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
funny because we obviously they couldn't hear us, but Naveed the whole time he's like, shh, 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 be quiet, get down. So
Oh,
That
yeah.
doesn't surprise me.
Oh no, I was like,
We're
I'm,
like, shh.
I'm like, I don't think they'll see us, but just
Is that
in case.
you driving right there?
Yeah. Con wanted to drive. I'm like, no, I got this. Just stand back there.
That's great. I love just the way this scene plays out with them like peeking over each other. I just had this visual image of like a head, like very like old school Three
Yeah.
Stooges style type of thing. You know,
Oh, it's great. Yeah, the steps.
one of the reviewers of the few actual legit reviews we've gotten said that he really wished that we had gone full on crazy slapstick with this, which I kind of agree. I like the movie, but I'm gonna take that to the next one. I think we
Right.
just need, at some point in the movie, it just needs to go crazy, like Abbott and Costello slapstick madness
Nice.
with these three ladies. Of course, Patsy's like a closeted alcoholic here. Not an alcoholic.
The confession
No,
of
but
Patsy.
But the
she's
Baptist
like,
that
yeah.
drinks.
Excuse me, folks.
Some people, this is a part of the movie that is never explained. When Paul shoots
Cotton.
what exactly happens? Is he shooting a blank and Cotton's just reacting to it?
I guess that's
Does he
up for-
shoot the gun out of his hand? Does he shoot his hand? Why is there no bandage? Well, folks,
We
sorry.
don't know. I don't
Never
even think I
explained.
knew on set. Like I wasn't paying attention to that. Him, later on.
Most
Until-
people, you can get away with so much stuff in a film. I hate to say it, but you really can. Some people have asked me about that. The people that watch really, really closely.
I like
Or the people that like to get hung up on such things.
right.
But in my mind, this is my opinion, he shoots a blank, just like we find out later that Cotton is shooting blanks as well, right? And it startles Cotton, and he does that thing. I mean, any of us get shot with a blank, and we're going to, like, grab our chest or fall back.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we think we just got shot.
Right. It's almost like when you slam on the brakes because you almost rear-end someone. You're like,
Yeah,
you jump because you think you're getting in a car accident.
exactly. So, that's what it works for me, that he just got startled. This little thing where she picks up the keys was also
Oh, yeah.
a last-minute addition, which
I
I just,
love it.
I love this little moment here. It's great. And the ladies all dirtied up was great, too.
I think the women really started to get comfortable acting with each other at this point. you know, so.
How far into the shoot was this? I can't remember.
This was the second week.
This is one of our favorite actors in Mississippi, a guy named Creek Wilson, who was in Naveed's New Mississippi movie. And he's a lot of fun in this kind of cameo role as the tow truck driver.
I love these shots.
Of the four, the row
I love it.
is great.
And we got to give a shout out to Porter Tow Trucks.
Oh,
for
yeah.
bringing out the tow truck.
There you can see it really well there with Mike's band on top of it.
And Danya's car in the background.
What you gotta appreciate if you don't know how film works is that, you know, Danya's having to replicate even the dirt on their faces on different days.
Mm-hmm.
Which just, you know, it's just
And
tough.
their wardrobe, too.
Yeah, exactly. So, this was a shot, I remember the entire crew was sitting on the curb, not doing anything. So I had to use the slate. This was one of those lazy days for the crew. Yep.
Why are you looking at me? It's like so unfair.
There's Ashley Dunaway. We'll change the subject here. We're in the real sheriff's office, and the real sheriff of Lincoln County. You know, I'm looking at you because
Why?
it's me
'Cause I was
telling
trying
you.
to manage
No,
them?
it's me telling you that's never gonna happen again, and you're gonna help me make it never happen again.
Hey,
right?
I helped a lot.
No, you did. You did a good job. Anyway,
Thank you.
but
There
we're
it
never
is.
gonna.
That's all I needed.
We're never gonna do. It's on record.
There it is. It's on
It's on
record.
record.
Loud and clear.
Stop. This scene was a ton of fun to shoot. Their interaction on this scene is just great, you know? And the
Yeah.
more warmed up Jimmy got, it just got better and better. I loved it. So, she's got some really good timing as well. Yeah.
Yeah, he really played on that last take. He was like doing the nice amount of improv.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I
like,
love
with
when
the
he's-
finger thing.
I love when he says woman or lady or whatever he calls her. Yeah, it's just...
This office was actually on the back end of the courthouse that we shot at.
Right.
So we had, I guess you could call it a company move. It was so close, we literally walked over to the next building and shot there.
Do we want to talk about the handkerchief thing in this scene?
Oh, yeah.
I have a tendency to keep a handkerchief in my back pocket, which anyone who knows me knows this. And as he was like all stuffy and all this, the actor, as he'd kind of gotten in his method zone, he's like, does anyone have something I can blow my nose with? I take my handkerchief, dirty handkerchief, out of my pocket.
Travis had probably blown his
Right.
nose in like a
Like
million
1,000 times, yeah.
Sneeze,
Throw it to
blow.
Josh. Josh like blows his nose into it, throws it back to me. I put it right back in my pocket. Everybody's just looking at me, and I'm like, I don't care about germs.
Oh, man.
Who cares? Who cares,
That is
man?
one juicy handkerchief.
My theory is the more germs you got, the stronger you are. You know,
Oh.
can't live in a
Those
bubble.
antibodies.
You can't live in a bubble.
Yes.
This is definitely the most emotional scene in the film.
Yeah.
Ever since my
I
mom,
think,
just
I don't know how people feel about it. I've gotten different, you know,
What reactions have you got?
people have come out of the film saying, oh my god, Jenny, like, she was amazing, you know?
Right.
And then some people have been a little not really buying it, but I guess it kind of depends on the emotional, I don't want to say IQ of that person watching it, but, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think that we were debating about going with two different takes. One that was a lot where she broke down much less,
Right.
and then this one. And there was a lot of debate among the team, remember? Some of the
Right.
team thought, no, you should not use this take. But we felt pretty solid about it, and I feel like for this genre, it was the best choice.
I just don't think it would have worked as well with the other takes. It would just been more of a flat scene than compared to what we used.
It's just different styles. You never know how
Oh,
something's going to
You
play.
should talk about how Elise and you interacted without you even having to really direct her. Like, you would kind of... Remember you were telling me this on the
Right.
phone like a couple weeks ago? Or
She's just
months
really
ago?
impressive. I mean, all the ladies impress me for different reasons. Elise, I mean, because she's 18 when she made this movie, has little camera experience, impressed me in the sense that she's just such feels like such a film actress. Real quick though, this
Yeah.
Reagan Bush hat. They
Yes.
showed me a bunch of different hats to pick, and I was like, oh, it's got to be the Reagan Bush hat. So that's my little political commentary. Of course, I won't tell you exactly what that political commentary is
Right,
supposed to be
right.
saying, but that's my
Right.
political commentary right there. I think that he really would wear a Reagan Bush hat.
When was the last time
Definitely.
you stayed
Yeah,
with
exactly.
us to eat?
But yeah, she
When's the last
she
time you kissed me goodnight?
could watch me during a take. This is Elise playing Jenny, and without like breaking her focus during that take, watch me off camera make a gesture, and she would follow that direction
Right.
to be, and that just blew me away. This to me is like the plight of most Southern women. It's a cliche and a stereotype, but it's actually kind of true. There's all these Mississippi women who are married to men who don't hang out with them much and hunt and do their own thing, and the wives just kind of do their own thing. So it's a little bit of a cultural thing, and I'm not trying to be super critical, but I felt like it was an essential part of Mississippi culture and something that I wanted to incorporate into the movie. A little bit sad, but maybe in a funny way it makes a couple husbands and wives think about their relationships.
Maybe.
That would be nice. There was this like crazy lawnmower going on in this scene.
Yeah.
There were like 5 at
Yeah.
least.
5 lawnmowers.
Well, it was like one after another popping up. First, it was the neighbor down the street. I asked him to shut it down. Then somebody else started. I'm like, this is the lawnmowing day.
I
for-
gave.
Yeah.
Sorry,
What?
I cut you off.
How dare you?
I didn't really. You were finishing that thought.
You lawn mowed my freaking
In
sentence?
that, in that past scene, I wanted to say I forgot about this. I felt like Marlene was doing a really good job in the scene, but there was like one extra level that I wanted her to get to. I don't know if you guys remember this.
Yeah.
If you do. And I walked up to her and I whispered something in her ear, something that I would never repeat to anyone else. And it was a little secret direction, a connection between the two of us that I knew about her. And boom, the next take, waterworks. Like, you know, that like real simple drip tear from the eye. And
Right.
that was great. That was really cool. And I just thought at that last moment, I'm like, what if I just drop this little bit of information to her? What's going to happen? So
Yeah.
I love moments like that.
Yeah.
Making actors cry makes me so happy.
Yeah. That's kidding.
Katie's like, just...
I'm like fake laughing.
If
over
you
here.
guys, if you guys could see Katie's face right now, she looks like so concerned whenever I open my mouth
That's
that I'm
not
gonna
true.
say.
Travis is talking. Travis is talking.
What's he gonna say?
Commentary.
What's he gonna
No.
say?
It's the filter.
This is a great shot,
I love that shot.
or a great
Yeah.
moment at least.
Mhm.
James coming out, peeking through the window. And I really, Bo just did such a great job with some of those subtle expressions.
She really did.
We're shooting here at Marlene's tennis court, which was a lot of fun.
Which was supposed to be a golf course.
Yeah, and I'm just sick of golf scenes,
Right.
so
This
I wanted
turn-
to
yeah.
do something different. In this next scene, what did he have the line here that he's got a this is I can't-
Disruptive.
disruptive.
Oh,
This is disruptive.
Yeah, he couldn't say this. Cotton couldn't say that line. And he just did take after take after take of him trying to say it. So that was.
He was like between disruptive and disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
He was like mixing them up and just like, yeah.
He's like, "Can you change this?" I'm like, "No, I'm not changing. I'm not changing the word."
Oh, he messed that up so many times.
Really like this shot too. I'm walking away from each other.
Honestly,
that.
I wish we could have used that shot a little bit more, but like the more I watch that scene, I'm like,
love
it's so
this.
intimate. It's hard.
Boom.
Boom. Yeah.
This was our most extras that we got, wasn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
But we didn't have as many as we wanted. That was stressful.
Yeah.
This probably, it seems simple, but the timing of this scene, folks, if you can imagine this, Naveed was coordinating all of these people to walk through at the same exact time on each line, different shots. We're not using multiple cameras. We're shooting from one angle and the next angle, and he's got this timing down, timing that we set together, right? But you're sort of sending them. I mean, it's just...
This right there.
Scenes like this are just really really difficult to pull off.
If I would go back and redo this part, I would take pictures of every single person that I first sent through, and then would have been like, because we had very little time for this, and it was a really intricate scene. And at one point, I remember coming up to Travis, and I'm like, okay, I need to think about this. And he's like, there's no time to think. When to send them through? I'm like, okay, no time to think.
That was a great Travis Mills line. There's no time to think.
Yeah. And then I'm like, all right, if there's no time to think, I'm just going to use the extras to help me. I'm like, all right, everybody remember where you were at? Just stand behind each other.
That was a good idea, and it worked.
Yeah, and it worked.
Just say, hey, remember who's in front of you and who's behind you, and do it.
Yeah.
But just to give people an idea, that short hallway scene, what'd that take us, like 3 hours to shoot, maybe?
It did.
Maybe not that long,
a little
but
under 3 hours, I would say, but it felt like a long time because you have all these people here to help you that showed up, but you don't want to keep them there longer than you have to.
Right.
You know.
Oh, people started leaving, I think, at this point, didn't
Yeah.
they? People had to go, and it was difficult, and we didn't have a full house like we wanted to, so these scenes are always a struggle when you are counting on a bunch of people to show up for free. But a lot of people in Brookhaven helped us out, which was fantastic.
I love those shots, the
Fine.
starlight on
Yeah.
her. Yeah, she just...
It is beautiful. This was my little, like, if there's ever a moment in any of our films that have had a message, this is it. Because to me, this was the just support local things, right? Whether it's film or whatever. That was like, the Patsy character was, that aspect of her was straight from my heart, just saying like, guys, if you want cool stuff to happen in your town, you gotta support it, you know? So hopefully, again, that some people kind of connect with that a little bit.
You hope so.
Yeah. Definitely wanted the finale of this movie from the very start. After I saw the rooftop of the Haven Theater, I knew that I wanted the climax to happen on the rooftop. Because it's just such a cool...
Oh, yeah, with that marquee in the background. And...
Oh, yeah. The sign is just really powerful. The pink and blue light. Everyone will see that in a second.
That's one of my favorite shots there.
It's cool,
really
right?
Simple, and then, yeah.
Yeah, I want to do more stuff like that in the sequel. Because it's, again, it reminds me of like a Three Stooges type thing,
like
with them like going across the scene.
Yeah, the silhouette gives that feel of just like that.
That's a
creepy...
great shot. I love the water and the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone just looks great up here, especially Cotton. He just looks like such a villain.
Yeah, it's nice because like everybody except for Cotton's on the red side and Cotton's on the blue side.
Right.
It's probably not really true compared to really how this sign is, but that's how they lit it, and it just works really well.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the devil's looking at the burned victims or something.
Yeah, it's just it's a cool feeling, the whole thing. This was such a tough scene to block, with just where to put everybody and where to tell them to move. I remember I like explained it all, and then it was like, you actors go off and get your timing right and come back and have it right, you know. And they were just practicing and practicing and practicing, and they made it easy on us. They all did really good. So I think this is one of the scenes where Elise really shines, because she's the center of this scene, having to process all this information, and she's able to do so with basically no lines. So James Minter was also one of the producers of the film, and definitely one of the people that encouraged us most to make films in Mississippi. So it was cool to have him play this role.
It's crazy. The floor on this roof is weirdly noisy and poppy.
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
And it was just really like, for us being behind the camera, it was like, okay, like literally do not move at all.
Right.
And then the actors moving inside on their lines too. Sometimes
it's hard for them not to do, though. When you're in the moment, how do you stay in the moment but remember not to move your body?
Right. Yeah. But the pop isn't really.
Oh yeah. Cotton's got some. He's great at the end here. He's so great. I think that if I could go back, one thing I might change is Bo's southern accent. I think I would drop that. He's not terrible at it, but it doesn't sell for the locals, you know. No one's really said anything, but I don't think it's as sharp as it could be. So that whole thing that he's like a Yankee and then he's a Southerner, I'd probably drop that. But that's how it goes, right?
Yeah. It's fun though. I mean,
Water
it's
under the
interesting.
bridge. I love this.
This is a great shot.
Yeah, I love the rack focus to her face.
One thing that I do think we did well here, actors, everybody, is it's hard to do scenes where all of a sudden you explain what happened the entire film and for them not to be boring. And I think one thing we did here, from music to cutting to shooting to acting, is it's not boring. They drop so much information here that some people can't even follow it, but it's entertaining to watch them do it.
Right.
So I really dig that part of it. This is where he flubs his line, right? Yep.
Yeah.
We liked this, and the rest of the team didn't like it.
Well, they
But
thought it was it looks like a mistake, but
to me, it looks like someone who's flustered.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
I didn't really have an indifferent feeling about it.
Especially because he started with keep saying to everybody that's enough, and then he went to say that's enough, but he's like, I said shut up. So it just kind of, you know.
I mean, if you were about to shoot someone, and you were probably would feel very emotional and stutter over your words.
Yeah, I think so.
You know?
I mean, he doesn't really want to shoot anybody, but
This part coming up is just awesome. I love this part with Jimmy.
Oh my god, this is great.
He added the little finger wag.
Yeah.
That was all him. That's all him. You know, he'd do stuff like that, and
Yeah.
you're like, you're not an actor, but you got this great sense of timing and all of this. So, this upcoming music piece right here is my absolute #1 favorite in the entire score. I can listen to it on repeat. It's just emotional and inspirational.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. I mean, I still can't believe this is all from a 17-year-old.
Oh yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yep. Pretty awesome.
Kid must have been composing music in his mom's womb or something.
Right.
Yes, this is good. I mean, seriously, 17?
We're not inviting Naveed back for the next commentary.
Either that or his mom
Yes!
played really
Yes.
good.
I am done with commentaries forever, people.
It's
And
so much. You know what's
have
fun?
a wonderful life.
On-screen kissing.
Hi,
It's
Bongo.
never as much fun as it looks, right? It's always awkward, very rarely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
for
Two
sure.
people don't know each other.
Did
they
you
don't
have
kiss
gum?
the same
Did
way.
you brush your teeth?
Yeah,
out?
did you
know.
smoke? Whatever, all of that stuff. It's a lot of fun. Yep.
That little turn in the
Oh,
kiss
it's so
was,
great.
That was very genuine and
I love that moment.
sincere. I
Yeah.
like that.
Her face there is great too.
She was super nervous about that little
It's my
kiss.
uncle on the left here, and a local musician named Shaw Furlow as well for this duo that finishes the film. Yeah, there's some more on-screen kissing. That's right.
Yes.
The whole crew is just behind the camera, just watching.
Yeah, exactly. This moment where Patsy shows up is just really funny. She's hilarious. She just brings so much energy. Barely had to direct her. Barely had to tell her to do anything because she just has excellent comedic timing.
Yeah, she's really confident and she's having a lot of fun with it, which is cool.
Chris Bosarge was also, who plays Randall, was one of our last minute additions to the film, and I really like him. Planning on casting him again, and when we make a sequel, I think Randall needs to be a bigger part of
definitely.
what happens. So some of his mannerisms are just great.
Something has to happen during that alligator hunting, man.
Nice. Naveed wants Brandon and him to go alligator hunting in the sequel. Not sure
I
about
think
that.
some of
but
the audience had a question about the age difference between Patsy and Randall.
to me,
I don't think
I don't see it as an age difference at all.
I don't think it could be questionable. I could see it, but I actually think it's kind of an interesting dynamic, between them. But
I think I think that they look like a couple to me. So otherwise, I wouldn't have cast them.
Right.
But I also think there's nothing weird about her having a black child and a ginger child and a little brunette daughter.
Right.
So.
Patsy could just be a fun girl.
Right, exactly.
A fun, loving girl with.
So let's talk about this scene, Naveed.
Okay.
This scene is hilarious.
What we learned from this scene.
What we learned is never, ever shoot a scene with musicians in the background where they have to mime. So when you shoot a scene like this, you can't have them actually playing during the scene because it'll ruin the dialogue. So they're miming, but it's very difficult for them to mime in time with how they're actually supposed to play, if that makes any sense. Basically, the miming didn't match the real music, and the scene was a disaster. If you really watch Shaw's face here, he's not quite singing along the way he should be, but that's not his fault. We actually punched in and moved the camera back and forth to trick the audience. But there you go.
Yeah.
We just let the rabbit out of the hat, something like that.
So, if you're a young filmmaker,
What is that
do not think that people that play their own music know how to mime their own music for any reason, because they
just don't
apparently
shoot.
Can't.
Always get a close-up with nothing in the background that could be a continuity error.
And do not trust anybody.
And
Yes.
then the extras fake dancing.
Oh my
So
gosh.
funny.
That's another thing that I
loved
hate
it.
directing. I need an extras
just like-
director. I don't ever want to have to tell extras to like
For 2
play-
hours,
play-
the same thing.
Oh my gosh, it's just
I
terrible.
wish you guys could see this. You hear this noise, but
Naveed, stop.
They were
All
just
right.
bombing. Don't stop.
oh, here's the alligator hunting thing. That's what I'm talking about. It's
there you go.
great.
This scene was supposed to take place at was this supposed to take place at night? Dusk?
Morning,
Morning.
dawn. This is dawn.
No, it is dawn, but it's dusk for dawn.
Oh, at the actual time of the day.
Right.
Yes.
Definitely. But I think originally in the script it's at night that it takes place, but we
Right,
switched it around.
'Cause they
And we
partied
wanted
all
to
night.
end with the Brookhaven sign because this is a love letter to Brookhaven.
There it is.
There it is. And before we leave, these are paintings by the great Mississippi painter Wyatt Waters that he's done mostly at Brookhaven. This is a cool little addition to the end of the film.
Yes.
Wyatt Waters.
Thanks for the mug.
Yep. Thanks for the mug, Wyatt. We drink coffee out
I
of
drink
it
coffee
often.
from it all the time.
So, I guess that's it. If there's anyone still left listening to this, then
You're amazing.
we really
Thank
like
you
Dang
for your
it.
support.
really, really like you. And come back next
Gosh
time.
dang it. That's amazing. You're
Make
still
sure
listening.
to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Running Wild Films.
What a self-promoter. Sheesh. What's wrong with you?
Goodness.
Gosh.
Horrible.
Why not?
Horrible.
It's not like I said my personal account.
Yes.
Anyway.
Running Wild Films.
Alright. I told them that I wanted this to be a serious commentary, so we might
Very
have to
serious.
do it again.
I was
but-
definitely serious. I had a
Yes.
serious face even though when I was joking. I don't know if you guys noticed. I was very serious.
On that note, we will say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Or as Paul West would say, goodbye.
This ain't goodbye.
This ain't goodbye,
This
folks.
ain't goodbye.
Alright, guys.
Bye bye.
Okay, bye.
Peace out.
Red Bluff. What?
Like you're kind of like, even getting close, you're kind of like, I haven't put my head on your shoulder for a very long time. Right. Everything's very slow and gradual.
Hi, I'm Paul. I'm Paul West.
Just in time.
Paul?
action. Cut. Five, shot one, take two. Hold, please. Hold for the marker. Settle. And action.
Wouldn't be lost if, excuse me,
You're fine. And action.
wouldn't be if we,
We wouldn't be lost right now.
what now?
We wouldn't be lost right now. I'm gonna see the police on my own.
You disrupted.
Brennan and I are leaving town. Dictionary.
Back to one. Back to one.
You disrupt. I'm thinking about that.
Just cut him off.
Disrespectful.
You need to bring it down.
Disrespectful, I know it.
Cotton.
I know it.
Jenny. Goodbye, Jerry.
Got to say goodbye.
Settle. And action.
Russian kiss me goodbye?
No. Cause it's saying goodbye.